Hey everybody, this is going to be our day one and Trophy of Speed video guide for Blueprints. I was able to get day one and in under an hour on this account, Imaginary Completionist, in about 30 or so tries, which is very good. I had to play it about 200 plus times on my main account. I released a video a couple months ago of me giving up on the game, and then I did eventually get it later on. So we'll talk a little bit about that later. But so I skipped the cutscene, and I instantly grabbed the blueprint and pick all three rooms very quickly. I pick closet in the middle, and I pick hopefully long hallways, spare room corridor, or a hallway or den, something that's going to allow you to choose as much as you can. Of course, they didn't give us an option to go to the west bottom corner there, but you kind of want to stake your claim on rank 1 as much as you can, preferably getting a room that's going to give you both an option up to rank 2 and over to the west and east sides to the corner rooms. And the reason I picked those three rooms as quickly as I did out of the entrance hall is, for one, not to waste any steps going into rooms and coming out of them, but also if you pick the first three rooms in under 30 seconds, again, this could be a lie, this could be a rumor, I don't know if it's true, but that basically tells the game that you're speedrunning, and it's going to supposedly give you more rewards, more luck, possibly even the Lucky Rabbit's Foot as an item early in your game. And having more and better items is always a good thing when you are trying to get to room 46 on day 1. So I just did the billiard room puzzle, just did the dartboard there. We got 2 keys, which is the worst thing you can get, which is still not a bad thing. You know, you need keys. Keys are the most valuable resource on day 1. I can't tell you how many day 1 runs I failed because I didn't have enough keys. But the other 3 items you can get from the dartboard puzzle are the secret garden key, which is the best thing you could get because it gives you a lot of options to get into the antechamber. It gives you fruit throughout the house and so forth. The silver key, which is great to use at a higher rank because it'll give you a room with 3 doors. Here's the utility closet, by the way. We'll be talking about that in a second. And the third item that you can get from the dartboard puzzle that we didn't get is the security card, because we got it from the closet. We picked the security card out of the closet right at the beginning there, and we were able to get that. So if you noticed, as I said, we got the utility closet here at rank 4. Going up the east side. This is how I like to do it. I like to go pick the 3 rooms, go into the closet and see what we got, and then head to the east side, and then head up a couple levels just until you reach either a dead end or a point where you're going a little too far to waste steps to go all the way back. And of course, if you get an option to head to the west from wherever you are on the east side, that way you save yourself some steps. So we got the utility closet on rank 4 because we don't want to get it too low in the house, because you want to be able to get it relatively close to the dark room. The dark room, we were able to get 4 rooms away from the utility closet, so we didn't waste much steps at all there. And the dark room is fantastic on day 1. You want to get into the dark room and you want to get the power on for the dark room, for no other reason other than, when you're picking rooms out of the dark room, you don't want to end up picking something like furnace, which was one of the selections right there. But also the dark room, the storage room, the aquarium, a couple other places are great places to find the battery pack and the broken lever. And those are the two items you want to combine with the sledgehammer to make the power hammer. If you noticed, we also got an ivory die here. I like to hold on to the 2 ivory dice for when we get garage, if we get garage. But for some reason, I decided to go with re-rolling what we had there. I didn't want to spend the 2 gems for the passageway. And I picked the secret passage. And secret passage is great on day 1. If you pick the green book, it will often give you a cloister for free, which gives you a 4-door room, but it also is very likely to give you the aquarium. Now, the aquarium is the extra bonus in the dining room on day 1. Always, the dining room always gives you the salmon meal. I think it's salmon, and you get an extra 10 steps if you've drafted the aquarium. The aquarium, like I said, is also one of the great places to find either the broken lever or the battery pack. And it has a dig spot. And if it doesn't have the battery pack or broken lever, it'll usually have a gem or something else good. Guest bedroom, also really great to use on day 1 because there's usually a gem or a key or the security card on that little end table. Also, the 10 steps, very important. You want to utilize your steps and be smart about it. If you can pick nursery early, it's very beneficial. If you can get the sleeping mask from the closet right as you start, or from the commissary when you draft it, very useful, because you are going to have the opportunity to pick bedrooms throughout the day, and you're going to need those extra 5 to 10 steps boost. If you get really, really lucky and you get an upgrade disc, and you can upgrade the nursery to 8 steps, then you're pretty much sitting pretty, yeah. But bedroom is a fantastic day 1 draft because bedroom will have a trunk in it, and that trunk could have like 3 or 4 gems. It could have 3 keys. It could have the secret garden key as well, or it could have 2 ivory dice and some coins, or I think the other option is 9 coins, I want to say, or 12. I don't remember exactly. Courtyard, also another great pick. So the things you want on day 1, you want sledgehammer and you want shovel. Metal detector is useful to a certain point because metal detector is going to help you find more keys and coins, and you need more keys. You need all the keys you can get. But also, it's going to be very useful, as you're going to see in this playthrough, for the Great Hall. And I'll explain that when we get there. Here is the parlor. First day parlor is always very simple. I got to the point where all I had to do was read one of these boxes, and I knew where the gem was. It's, I think it's probably about 20 to 30 different possibilities on day 1, but I ran through all of them in my 200 plus day 1 attempts on my main account. So you want to make sure as you're heading up the west side that you have at least 1 gem, because by the time you get to rank 3 or 4, you are going to probably, not 100% guaranteed, but you're probably going to roll the garage. And if you can't spend a gem to get the garage the first time you roll it, it's very unlikely you're going to roll it a second time. Maybe you'll roll it a second time if you're lucky, but you're not going to see it more than twice as an option. So you want to make sure. That's why I went to the east side first. I go to the east side, I build up my gem resources, and I build up my keys if I can. And then I head to the west side, and I head up the westernmost wing. If you notice, here we are in security, and we skip the cutscenes, and we also get the broken lever. Very rare to find the broken lever sitting on this desk here. So we have the card. I always like to check the inventory just to make sure I'm not missing anything. We have the security card, so we're going to go ahead and change the security level to high. That is in hopes that we hit more security doors and less locked doors, so we have to use less resources throughout the rest of our day. That is not it's not a guarantee, though. I have changed the security level so many times and not seen any difference in how many security doors I see. It's very, yeah. We only have 2 coins right now, and like, it's also fantastic that we changed that, because here we are now. We're already seeing security doors, but we only have 2 coins, so we can't really buy a shovel. And we picked Courtyard. Yeah, the Courtyard didn't give us a shovel or a sledgehammer. It did give us a metal detector. Like I said, that will be useful. Laboratory is also another place you could go and possibly find the battery pack. And I forgot. This is one of those times we got the battery pack. So now we have the broken lever and the battery pack. All we need now is the sledgehammer, and we are on our way to getting into the underground and basically securing our chances. We have garage. We have the utility closet with the garage already turned on. We have aquarium, which is going to give us extra steps. We have the 2 items we need to combine with the sledgehammer. Now all we need is 2 more things. By the way, we're setting our steps to 40 every time we draft a shop, and that is going to help us in a little bit. I don't remember exactly how far away we are to seeing that help us, but right now we're at 20, so getting us up to 40 would be ideal at some point. But anyway, the 2 things that we need right now for the perfect scenario, well, 3 things. We need 2 ivory die in order to guarantee that we can roll tomb in the outer room, because now we have access to the outer room. And we need the sledgehammer in the workshop, or we need the sledgehammer and the workshop, so that we can combine those 3 items that we have, or 2 items that we have, and the sledgehammer, and make the power hammer. That is going to guarantee us the tomb is going to get us to the minecart side of the underground, where we have to move the minecart, and the power hammer is going to allow us to knock down the wall and the planks. Ooh, here we got workshop. Here's where we get really lucky. Really lucky. We get workshop, and sledgehammer is in it, and I am so excited. I'm not really showing it here, but I am. Believe me, I'm so excited. So we have power hammer. That's great. The next thing we want to guarantee is the 2 ivory dice, so that we go to the outer room and we guarantee we roll tomb. There is a 1 in 3 chance that you're going to draft tomb with 1 draft. Okay, there's 8 rooms altogether that can be your outer room. So if you can bring 2 ivory dice with you and cycle through those choices twice, you can guarantee you'll see tomb within those 9 rooms presented to you. And if you don't have ivory dice, you're basically leaving it to luck. We don't get ivory dice for this. I'll tell you the truth. We get really lucky. And I don't know why. I just go ahead and go for it, because everything else is backed up. Well, actually, I do remember why, and I'll explain that in a second too, because that's kind of important to talk about. Well, yeah, I can talk about it now. By the way, we're gymnasium. We have it turned off. We have the running shoes. Running shoes are very useful, and you just watch our steps from here on out, because we lose so many less steps now as we go from room to room, and especially as we go long distances. Now we pull Great Hall. What is this, rank 8? Pull Great Hall. So we also have the option to go into the middle antechamber door if we get that open. And now we have the power hammer, so we could roll weight room and use the lever in the weight room, but we get Great Hall. Now, I happen to miss the opportunity here to tell you I use the metal detector as I walked by every door here because I only had, I guess, 7 keys. I used the metal detector and its frequency improved as I got close to that door the most. So we went ahead and checked it there. I believe it's the lever that sets the metal detector off. If not, and I might not be 100% correct on that, but 2 of the rooms could have keys, could have metal objects in them, and it could set the metal detector off. So it's not 100% guarantee that the lever is going to be in the room that sets the metal detector off the most. But, knowing that I have the lever and I am going to be able to get to the east side of the antechamber, I went ahead and picked mailroom there. Sometimes there's a good item in mailroom. I also I upgraded my mailroom in my my main save on this account, and the mailroom is same day delivery. So I wasn't probably thinking properly, but I was just excited because I knew, I was getting what I needed. And here is kitchen at 13 steps. And we walk in with 12 steps. It changes now to 40. I'm just jumping in here to point out a couple things. First of all, this is an extremely lucky run, and you haven't even seen the end of it yet. But I want you to understand that this is a once in a million chance here that some of these things work out the way they do. I want to point out the observatory. The reason I didn't buy that, and I should have, was because I was very worried about getting to the antechamber door on the east side. I didn't want to waste either of my 2 gems. So that's exactly why I didn't pick the observatory. Also, observatory, not a good pick for the first day, for day 1. So just keep that in mind. But that's why I didn't do that. But in doing this, I'm actually cutting myself off from the other about 4 or 5 rooms on the west side there. And you're going to see, I luck out, but I basically dead end myself here, and I only get lucky enough that I get what I get by taking chances. So keep that in mind. It's extremely lucky. It's not always going to go this well. Please take your chances, but understand the risks. This is not always going to play out this way. Not only that, but I need to mention that walking into the kitchen with 13 steps, that experiment, getting the kitchen when we got it, is definitely what saved our run. So definitely, this is a lucky run. We got the basement key, and now we have another item to help us get to room 46. So we have another one of the items that we need. Okay. We don't have a 100% guarantee that we're going to get Tomb yet, but we do have the power hammer. So at this point, we don't necessarily need the basement key, but if we don't get Tomb in the outer room, then we are going to need to cross our fingers and hope we get pool and then pump room. And if we get the pump room, we can empty the fountain out all the way. You don't need to power up the pump room in order to empty the fountain. You just need it to be powered up to empty the reservoir all the way. And if you want to empty the fountain and use the reservoir to use the boat to go across, then you need to power it up. But at this point, we are pretty much set up. We just need to ensure that we're going to get Tomb. But we have the basement key in our hands just in case. Basement key can be... Oh, by the way, here we are eating our lemon glazed salmon after getting the aquarium and the dining room, of course. And now that brings us our step count up to 57. I feel like there's one more thing that helps us lift it up, but we're actually pretty much, yeah, we are done. We are done. So I kind of accidentally put myself in a hole here where, yeah, I didn't give myself any outs. So we either get tomb or we miss out. So what I was saying earlier was the reason I just went ahead and went for it, with the power hammer and the basement key and everything, is because if I don't get tomb here, my plan is to at least do everything I can using the power hammer to open up the second passage, and we do get tomb. And I think I do a little dance when I get down here. No, I don't dance. I just run. I just run because I'm so excited. And I start accessing the... what are these things called? Are these gods? Are they the daughters of Horus? I never know how to refer to these guys. Are they colossi? Because the Colossus Orindia is the last one that we pick here, or at least that's the name of her giant statue. I don't know, but anyway, I believe they're all the daughters of Horus. Lost my train of thought there, but we were lucky enough to get tomb, thank goodness. But my plan going into this was, if I don't get tomb, at least I have the power hammer, and with only taking 20 minutes to get to this point on this save, if I don't get all the way to room 46, I can at least use the power hammer to open up the other side of the underground and try to get to room 46 on day 2 in under an hour. So Trophy of Speed, which you are going to see me get in this playthrough here with this day 1 run, but Trophy of Speed can be obtained in a new save, but it does not have to be day 1. You can get it in under an hour on a new save if it takes you day 2, day 3, even day 4, which I don't really think you could get it in 4 days unless you're just quitting out and just going to the next random day for no reason. But as long as you get to room 46 in under 60 minutes of playtime on a new save, you will get the Trophy of Speed on the next day, and the Inheritance Trophy, of course. You just won't get it. You just won't get the day 1 run, the day 1 trophy, unless you get it on day 1. So you can attempt to get Trophy of Speed if you just want to knock that out by, or if you get day 1 and you get it in, say, an hour and a half, then just make a new save, go for room 46 in under an hour, no matter how many days it takes you, and you will get Trophy of Speed. Hopefully that makes sense. I think it does. So here we are. We're just so frantically happy that it's actually going to work. Moving things around here on the railway side. We used the power hammer to knock down the wall, the boarded up railway tunnel, and then we used it on the brick wall again. And now we have to move all of these pallets, these boxes and pallet jacks and forklifts and all sorts of stuff. And there's a certain nuance to it that just, I was so excited that I didn't move things properly. But as I said, at this point, you should know how to do all this. You probably have done it a million times. None of this is necessarily teaching you anything. But while I'm doing kind of like the end things here, and we're going to go into the rotating room, and again, you should know how to do all this stuff. Let's talk about day 1 and what you can do. So we were lucky enough to get the Great Hall, which got us into the antechamber. We got the power hammer, very lucky for the power hammer, and we got tomb. So how that worked was we went up the west side to about rank 3 or 4 with at least 1 gem. We got garage. I would have preferred to not go into the garage and pick the outer room until I had 2 ivory dice, but we were lucky enough to get the tomb on 1 roll. If we wouldn't have gotten that and we would have gotten something like the tool shed, I would have picked 2 more tools and maybe made it work. Or we would have just, like I said, knocked down the wall to this side of the underground and gone on our way. The other options you have are you can empty the fountain and go that way to the minecart. You need the pool, which then lets you draft the pump room. Again, all this stuff you probably know already. So pool, pump room, empty out the fountain. The side that we're on right now is also can be accessed from the foundation. Now the foundation is a room that you can draft. It is a permanent room on your floor plan after you draft it. It does not disappear on day 2. It is rare to get it on day 1, so I don't like to put a lot of faith in the foundation. But if you get foundation and you can get to the back side of the foundation by way of another room that has a doorway that would lead into that room, if there was a door, you can crank the elevator and make the elevator come down, and then use the elevator to get down to the railway tunnel side or the underground. Those are the 2 other ways you can get to the underground. You get any combination of these 2 ways to get to the minecart and 2 ways to get to the railway tunnel side, and you can operate this rotating room and get into room 46. There is one other way you can also get from one side to the other, and that is by removing 1 unit of water in the reservoir. So if we were to get pump room and to not get the power hammer, so pool, then pump room. Pool uses 1 gem. Pump room does not have a gem payment requirement. If we were able to get tomb, or that's basically the scenario you're looking for. If you're able to get tomb as your minecart area, but you can't get the power hammer to happen, then you can, and you don't get foundation and the elevator to work, you can also get pool and then pump room and just remove 1 unit of water from the reservoir, and from the minecart side of the rotating room, basically this door right here, right here, that right there is the dock that the boat is not on. And so on the other side of the reservoir is where you'll end up after you move the minecart. You can take the boat over to that dock and then do everything we just did. That is the way that I got into room 46 for my day 1 on my main account. That's how I got to room 46 for both, I believe, both of my dare mode runs, even on this account, the one that I made the video for, and my curse mode on my main account, was by removing 1 unit of water from the reservoir and using the boat to get over there. So those are your options. There's a 5th really impossible option. I've never seen it work. I've tried it, and I've never made it happen. If you get Blackbridge Grotto opened, if you have a shovel, a sledgehammer, a metal detector, and a magnifying glass and workshop, you can dig up the 2 microchips, get the 3rd microchip from Blackbridge Grotto. You can make burning glass from the workshop with the magnifying glass and metal detector. You can burn the sundial. You can use the sundial and put the 3 microchips in it and get the satellites going. Only if you haven't already drafted laboratory and picked an experiment. And if you do all of that on day 1, here's our room 46, getting into room 46 here. I'm going to cut the cutscene out by exiting out of the cutscene. But yeah, that once in a lifetime scenario is you could possibly get the satellites working, download a packet of experiments, and pick a packet of experiments and roll that packet on day one. That will give you an option to say, for every time you use the security door, open up one of the antechamber doors. And if you do that and get 4 of those experiments to happen, you could open all 4 antechamber doors, including room 46, and then walk right in. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen video of someone doing that. I imagine it's possible. I do know that Blackbridge Grotto being activated does not give you the option to use the throne room to open room 46. Because throne room cannot be selected on day one. It cannot draft it on day one, even if you unlock it on day one. So keep that in mind. Here is our trophies. We have our trophy of speed for getting it in about 29 minutes. And then our day one trophy. Here it is. So again, this is the second day one trophy I was able to obtain. The first one took me over 200 hours and made me quit the game for about a month and a half and played something else. Oh yeah, Death Stranding 2. And I came back to it and eventually got it. That day one run took a lot longer than an hour, and it I'm really glad I got this captured, because that day one run, my microphone was on and I was inconsolable when I got to this point and I got day one. I was literally having a heart attack. I was so worried something was going to happen at the very end that was going to ruin it all. I may still post that. I may still put that up, or at least put something together that kind of shows some of that, because I think the more day one runs you see, the more helpful it is. You have to be adaptable. You have to know when to use your resources, and you have to be extremely lucky. Again, I have run day one 230 times at least on these 2 accounts, and I have tried everything, and it's not a lack of skill. It is not it's not even really necessarily being unlucky. It's just, it doesn't happen until it happens. Not for nothing, on my main account, I unlocked curse mode, but never completed curse mode. On this, I have not unlocked curse mode yet. On this account, I have not unlocked curse mode. I'm going to unlock it, hopefully tonight, to make that video. I think curse mode is linked to it. I think I would have never gotten day one on my main account if I didn't complete curse mode first. And I got day one before I unlocked it on this account. So keep that in mind. Anyway, that is day one. The next thing I'm going to show you here, I know I put this in the Dare mode, the Dare Bird Trophy guide. This is going back into the main save. And at the end, we're going to look and see what trophies are here. This main save account has everything but the dartboard puzzle trophy and the curse mode trophy. Well, at least it will, because we are going to move over the day one and the trophy of speed. And you do this because you will not get the trophy of trophies until you have all trophies on one save. And then you have to go into the trophy room and find the trophy of trophies. So here we are at Blackbridge Grotto. We're putting in the admin key, which is capital M-O-O-R, capital R, for I think Randolph Moore, I think is his name. I think his name is Randolph. He writes you a lot. If you do the experiment to send a letter to the mailroom, most of the letters come from him, and he gives you lots of tips and stuff. It's really great. So we are going into the profile that we just completed. We're picking up our day 1 and trophy of speed trophies. We're importing them onto our main save here. It's a neat little thing that they make you do. If you don't have Blackbridge Grotto open, you shouldn't be doing stuff like dare mode and day 1 runs anyway, but I would believe, as long as you do not delete and clear those saves, that you can move them as soon as you open up Blackbridge Grotto. Please, I implore you, if you end up getting dare mode, curse mode, day 1, and trophy of speed, if you end up getting any of those, make sure you do what I just did here, and that you transfer over any trophies before you clear out any saves. You don't want to have to do this all over again, especially day 1, because it's really difficult to make happen. But here is what we have left, and we're hoping to complete all of those pretty soon. I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a good, lucky time with day 1 and trophy of speed, and we'll see you in the next one.